Well, for many reasons. Probably the most important thing is the government can't afford to spend money on proprietary systems anymore. It's going bankrupt. And the impact of sequestration, not properly said, will force this hopefully to be more efficient and effective, and what open source provides is a low-cost, effective platform that can serve government very well. I spend my time mostly in the mission-critical arenas, and what's amazing is to see the successful application of open source to diminish the attention for infrastructure and bring more focus to the mission problems. So we see the intelligence community's embrace for ISR programs, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. We see what NASA's done for their mission-critical programs on Nebula. Not much cost, a lot of capability. We see Patent and Trademark Office, which my organization helped actually move from the mainframe to a Unix platform. Now it's taking it to the next logical step. In each of these situations, what you're seeing is a lot less time and attention for contractors to custom build proprietary stovepipes, which are the bane of government IT, and to open up platforms where you get agility, organizational agility, not only IT agility, but organizational agility. New capabilities can be deployed much more quickly because there's a common, well-understood, widely supported platform. Well, the trends are indicative of some of the legislative actions that we've seen. OMB's 25-point plan, DoD's embrace of open source as a COTS platform, federal agencies actually bringing back decision-making processes, insourcing decision-making, so that often the decisions were left to the big SIs who would custom build a lot of these open source platforms, capabilities, and the government realizes that it's much better to have a larger community develop these. So the trend is clearly in the direction of delivering more with less. We've heard that catchphrase 1,000 times, and open source can be one of the key building blocks to enabling doing more with less. And if you look at most of the cloud platforms today, which are being enforced through multiple policy actions from OSD and the White House and Congress, the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, which my organization helped influence, is directing DoD to migrate all its legacy data and applications to commercially available cloud solutions. And when you look at those, you see a large presence of open source capabilities. It's probably the same advice I'd give for COTS. Make sure that you separate your requirements into 4 categories. The first bifurcation is separating what's commercially available, either COTS or open source, and the law says you must favor that. The second one is separating your infrastructure from your application layer. And I would expect any intuitive, logical, effective acquisition process to look at a 80% open source infrastructure, because clearly it's scalable, adaptive, viable. This is why NSA is built on that platform for Cumulo. This is why NASA is built on that platform for their cloud strategy. So if agencies want to be successful and are concerned about taxpayer dollars, you're going to see a big embrace there. FITARA is Chairman Iss's new legislation. We call it Clarence-Cohen Act 2, the Federal IT Acquisition Reform Act. And this is in direct response to the ITAC's report to Congress 2 years ago saying you must act, Congress, because government has failed to reform IT acquisition. So IT acquisition today is the agency's Achilles for getting to the cloud, to embracing open source, because they're going to continue to be locked into a design to spec legacy stovepipe. 70% of all IT funds today are subsumed by legacy cost. We have to break that bond. So FITARA is an attempt to create a public-private partnership with a nonprofit working with a federal agency to create a common conflict-free advisory across government that ushers in innovations like in open source, that allows the decision maker to understand what is commercially available. Government lacks the tools today to really fully comprehend how to get there. What is the business case? What is the value? Because most of the advisors today are vested in the old business, and you can't fix today's problems with the same thinking that got you there. And that's part of the reason why FITARA has been initiated, is to help break down some of those stovepipes.